What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to The Big Thing. Thanks for joining me here today. I got Andrew Ghai joining me. That's pretty awesome. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things. Obviously, I haven't seen Andrew in a little bit, so we'll be catching up, talking about that DC Fandom trailer that dropped yesterday and what we expect to see out of it. I don't know, just bullshitting, to be honest with you. But before I even get into that, if you guys didn't know, on October 8th, I'm getting back into a longer set. I haven't done really a long set stand-up in a while. I'm getting the hang of it. October 8th in New York. You can go to markellis.live and get those tickets to the New York Comedy Club. He's doing shows on Thursday and Friday, but I might pop in on Thursday. I'm not sure, but I'm definitely going to be there on Friday night, so you can get tickets there, and then obviously we have the Schmodown the next night. But that's enough about that. We got the big thing. We're excited about it. Let's get started, everybody. And hey, by the way, make sure that you're subscribing to the podcast feed and all that other stuff, because this is a listen as much of it's a watch. So see you in a second. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to The Big Thing. I'm Kristian Harloff, and this is our show that we do here on the SEN channel. Thank you all to the new subscribers that we got. I don't even know why I'm wearing this. I don't need to wear that right now. Thank you for all the new subscribers and everybody who's been joining and getting interactive, whether or not you're finding us for the very first time, rediscovering us. The engagement I've been getting with you guys lately has just been extraordinary, and I'm so excited to reconnect with a lot of you, introduce myself to a lot of you, and just bringing in people I like talking to. And that can't be, actually it's not true today for this guy, but I had to bring him in anyway. I joke. He's actually a really good buddy of mine. I'm excited to have him on the show. Andrew Ghai is here, ladies and gentlemen.
What is up, man? Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you.
It's good to see you. I feel like, this is only the second time we've seen each other in like a year and a half.
What did I see, a collision?
A collision.
Yeah, that was, and then, did you go, and you went to the Comedy Store afterwards.
Yeah.
For a little bit.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was good. I got to go see your pic. I bought you a drink.
You did.
You were like a famous person there.
Oh, please.
You're a famous person in the world.
The lady didn't even know, the bartender didn't even know who I was, but remember how she Comedy Store carded me?
She did. She was like, well, who do you know, or where did you?
She said you said he's a
because
you said he used to perform here and
test
because obviously how do you know the lingo, right? So you're like, he used to perform here. So in my head I'm going, from what he just said, she thinks I went up on the belly room one time or something too, and I said I'm a regular, and right away she goes, where's your name on the wall? I go, in the back next to Ingram, next to Ari Shafir's up top of the wall right before you walk in. She goes, you're a regular. She goes, every regular knows exactly where their name is on the wall.
Yeah, and then we got to go see your picture, which was a treat.
That picture, I don't even know I have that one.
Good looking young man. It might be one of those.
It's the green shirt one. I don't have it. It was one of, at the time, it was the only color shot on the wall. Now there's a ton of color shots on the wall, but most of them are black and white, but it's still there.
You're revolutionary.
Please. It's just I didn't know. I didn't have anything else, so I just stuck it on the wall.
I'm excited you're doing another set.
Were you there in New York for the other one? You were there, right?
I gotta say, look, I've known you for a long time.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how funny you were gonna be.
Well, you didn't know me that way.
I didn't know, and you were great.
Well,
you really were.
I had to shift, dude. I shifted away from, because I think I mistold myself things that, I don't know, to convince myself why I stopped doing stand-up. I always said that when I started doing schmoes, I was like, well, and it's not untrue, but it was, I would go up to the Comedy Store, perform in front of, it could be anywhere from 30 people to 200 to 300 people. I go to colleges, I did 1,000 people, it's like, but I'm like, yeah, but that's even at 1,000 people, I'm performing in front of 10,000, 20,000, 50,000. Schmoes was doing 100,000.
Right.
So what's the difference? The big difference. I kind of,
for sure.
I took a long time off, and for some reason I didn't have the bug, whether it was, family, other obligations. And last year, dude, I just got inspired. I've been writing a lot.
There was a lot of shit to laugh about last year if you wanted to, or cry 100%. About, right?
Yeah, and well, you got to. That's the whole part of it. Even like silly stuff where I was just talking about how people with children, and how the children really took it the worst in the pandemic, right? With
100%.
School and the fact that they can't get vaccinated and all these things, they just took it the worst. And parents trying to entertain children while they're locked down and can't be kids. If you allow it to be straight misery, that's what it is. But if you can poke fun at it and joke about it, I've got some stuff that I want to do, and So anyway, but yeah, that day, the one in New York that you saw, that was me sitting at a Mets game with Dagnino. And Ellis asking me all the time, you want to do a set tonight? He's been for the last 10 years. You want to do a set tonight? And I went, yes. And he went, what? I'm like, yeah. And I started writing that day, and I wrote a bunch of that shit like that day.
It was, I mean, yeah. What'd you do? You did like 5-10 minutes?
Did like 9-10 minutes.
Yeah. And it was great. And I could tell it was recently written stuff because it was topical for at least the time.
And it was fun. So I mean, it's fun. I called Ken Knapsack as I was walking through the street, and I had a couple of bits that I was the opening that I don't know if you remember it, but I said, what do you think about this? And he's like, that's good. That's good. Because I used to pitch bits to Ken when he worked at the farmer's market. I would go and I'd sit down with Ken.
We'll go in there with you guys because you were there. Ellis was there, obviously, and Ken was there at the store. Yeah. And it was, I don't know, it was like looking back in kind of like in time. It was cool to see because you guys all have done a lot of sets there, apparently, and you guys all met each other, I mean, before then, but doing comedy together there it sounds like something I would have loved to see.
Well, we did. So it's funny because the way that all worked out was Ken Knapsack, I met, and Ken was on last week, and we were talking about this a little bit. Like we were in this comedy troupe together. This guy Mark Franco who used to run it, and I went into detail on it last time, so I'll spare the audience to have to listen to it twice. But it's essentially there's a thing called bringer shows, and the way that works is if you're an up and coming comedian, you're like, hey, I want to do some time. I'm like, hey, I got a room. If you can guarantee me 5 people, then come in. I was way past that at that point, but the guy who ran this thing was like, hey, I thought very smart. Would take bringers, put them throughout the show, but then take his regulars and put them in. So he always had a good show. So even if the bringers were green and not good, that's how I met Kate Mulligan. That's how I met Andrew Santino. That's how I met like all those guys, right? And we would do that. But I met Ken through that troupe, and then Ellis I met Ellis at the Comedy Store.
Right.
I brought him into, and then just to go back, it was time travel to me because I don't know if you noticed when I was there, I didn't really sit at the bar. I was moving in 100 miles an hour.
As soon as you got to that, at first you were like kind of laying low, like, no, I got to get out of here. I got to, and then after a little bit, it felt like you're like, actually, I need to do this, and I need to talk to this person. I need to go back here and check on this. Yeah, I mean, of course, it's your old stomping ground.
I saw my old friends. I was hanging out with Rick Ingram and Eleanor Kerrigan. We were hanging out, and I was funny because when I was talking to Eleanor, the bartender came back around. She's like, so he's legit, and Eleanor goes, I love Eleanor. She's a sweetheart, man.
I had not a weird moment with Maron. I had like a fan moment with him.
With Mark Maron?
Because I'm just a big fan of Mark Maron, and like I guess I haven't ever spoken to him. I've seen him a handful of times.
At the store?
Yeah, at the store. And so I just walked by and said, good set, but I didn't even see his set. I didn't know what else to say.
Well, you're probably. I mean, I can tell you, I did see it, and it was good. So you weren't lying.
Yeah, it is because I wouldn't want to be like, I love your podcast, or like I love your specials, whatever. So I just want to say that because he's just a cool dude.
It's cool. He's great, dude. And he's like, and he's a different kind of animal for us, right? Because of what he's done in the podcast world. Because I remember Mark Maron being around the store when I was there, and I got made a regular there in late 2002. So he was there all the time, and there was no Mark Maron podcast yet. That wasn't a thing yet. And I remember like tons of people that I've seen blown up that I used to do stand up with: Andy Samberg, Mark Maron, Eliza Schlesinger, Andrew Santino, Steve Renazzisi, Ari Shaffir, like the late great Brody Stevens, like so many people that I came up with and watching people there. But like, yeah, he used to come in. I remember being in my old apartment, seeing his seeing the Entertainment Weekly. They did like a whole spread on his podcast, and then it blew up. And I was like, good for Maron, because he was always very nice to me. He was always very lending of advice to young comedians. You know who else was Joey Diaz.
Okay,
Joey Diaz used to always come out and talk to the young comics. Good set, bro. He's like, you a pair of balls. He used to say to me. Joey would always, in the back, he'd always talk to the young comics. And he was always very welcoming.
It's always cool when you hear that with dudes like that, because I used to do a lot of improv. I didn't do stand up though, but it was still at a comedy theater, and there's always a vibe. There's a lifestyle. There's like a community
hierarchy
there, for sure, 100%. And it took a while to even get like recognized there, but it was again as improv.
You earn your stripes.
It was a very different world, right? So the stand ups were basically on half the nights of the week, and the improvisers on the other half. But you'd get some guys that were like that you'd looked up to, that you'd watch perform, and they were so cool after you had a medium set or a medium show, whatever you want to call it, but they'd still at least talk to you, give you some advice. But then there's the other guys that were just like, they couldn't be bothered by it.
100%. It was the same way at the Comedy Store, for sure. And it was one of these, and again, to apologize to people who have heard this story a million times over, but it's just when I was just going through the store, I never understood how people who were showcasing and had opportunities to perform at the Comedy Store while they were auditioning, if Mitzi wasn't there, like they still give you time. Some people are like, well, she's not here. I'm not going up. I'm like, you're out of your fucking mind. Ari Shafir, he told me straight up, he was like, one of the main reasons they think you got passed is that you hung out. Like you would do your set, you didn't leave, you hung out. You were here.
That's also how you learn, right? There's 100%. So much of learning about the people that are there in the community, but just as much as just like watching the craft.
Yes, and it's being in that room, in the original room. It's my favorite room to do comedy to this day, and I actually really look forward to going back to it because I feel like I want to earn it, right? Yeah. I want to earn it back because I'm going to do this set in New York.
How long are you doing?
About 15 to 20.
Okay.
I'll probably wind up doing 20. I mean, I've all the material that I have right now is probably close to an hour. But,
really?
It's not tight enough to do a full hour. Plus, Ellis will disown me if I go up there and run the light for if I do 20.
This is my show.
Yeah, if I do 20, then he'll be okay, fine. I do 40, 50. He's like, what are you pushing? You're pulling a Roka. So, but either way, so I'm excited to do it because then that will transition to see what worked out of the new stuff. I'm gonna retool some of the old stuff. And then go and say, hey, let's try to do some belly room spots, and then hopefully,
what's the hierarchy of the rooms?
The room, so the belly room is the room where it's like a lot of rooms. It'll get booked out by certain promoters to do shows, and people will come in, or even some of the regulars will run some of their shows, and the goal would be for me is to I don't know the new talent coordinator now. I'd love to meet her and have a conversation with her, and I by no means do I'm like, well, I'm a regular. I deserve to go up. I don't. Not yet. I haven't earned it. I want to go back up and see, to start getting those OR spots. And then I always like the main room because the main room it's a fun room. But the OR is where you like it's like going to the gym and doing the reps,
right?
Because you can do being in that room. I never again. I'm repeating stories, but I don't think
it's my fault.
But no, but it's all right. I don't know if I've ever told you. It's just that the story of the fact that when I'll never go up stoned ever again.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine.
I went up once and it was right after Rogan. Rogan did like 45 minutes to an hour, and he crushed.
He was stoned.
He was probably stoned,
yeah.
but like, and which is what he can do it. That's just what he does. But I went up. Had gone up after him before, done well. But I went up stoned. I got stoned with Rick Ingram in the back, which is what I would normally do when I wasn't going up. Mm-hmm. And I go up, and I'm up there, and there's people in the front. It was packed, people in the front row, and so the guy gets up. He goes to the bathroom. He comes back. He says very loud, right in the front row, as I'm telling a joke. He goes, "How's this guy?" She goes, "Eh." So I'm like, All right. So I'm just powering through it, and in my head, because normally, me, I can go. When I'm not, I'm like, all right, and I can throw a joke back at you. And my wit was dead.
Yeah.
There was no wit there whatsoever, just dead. Then the guy looks up. He's a black dude, right? And he looks up and he goes, very loud, "Tell a black joke, dog. Tell a black joke."
God, no.
And I go, just like this. No. He goes, "Why not?" Because I don't want to.
You seen me?
And I go, "I don't want to." And then some lady in the back goes, "Leave him alone."
Shut up, Mom.
She's just like, "Leave him alone." And I was like, oh my God. And I get off the back and Bobby Lee goes, "What happened?" I go, "I sucked." "I'm never doing it again, Bobby." He goes, "You were stoned." I saw Bobby Lee that night, by the way. And he says to me, like, so him and Santino go on this super nice thing on their show, Bad Friends. They had this whole thing about me, and they start talking about how Santino talks about like when he was coming up and how I
listened to this because you posted it, right?
Yeah, he sent it. They sent it to me, and I had heard it, and it was very nice. And he was talking about how when I was a regular at the store, he would go to this place, Room 5, and he would do this set, and we used to have conversations about it. And because I was a regular there, it meant a lot to him. And when he brings up, he brought up my name, and Bobby goes, "Oh, I love Kristian. I love Kristian Harloff. Oh, he's so nice. Where is he?" And I see him. First thing he says to me after that really nice rant, "Oh, I thought you died of COVID." Bobby Lee, little fucker, and then he gives me a hug.
I've loved Bobby Lee for I guess like almost 20
Did I
years
introduce
now.
you to him?
No, I don't think, or maybe really quickly in passing.
Yeah, maybe.
I saw you talking to him.
I would introduce you to him. He's a wonderfully weird, funny guy. He's always been very sweet to me.
Doing Comedy Stone is very tough. Because I'm the same way. My wits are just gone when I'm stoned like that. I've tried to do it. I could have like a beer or two, and that helps, like maybe loosen me up for a show. But yeah, getting stoned before anything on stage like that, it stresses me out.
Can't do it. When I was younger, when I was going up, I would do like I'd have like one little drink. The place I was telling you, room 5. There was the bartender. Her name was Jody, and she was a sweetheart. And she used to give us Jody shots right before, and they weren't anything too strong, but it was just. A little bit of the edge, even though I like, so Bert Kreischer talks about this all the damn time. When I saw him at Potbelly's, was the first time he ever went up, and he comes up to me and he had beer in his hand. Oh my God! And I had recently just my first set ever. I had fallen off the stage. Not like Bradley Cooper, Star Wars
during
Born.
your first set.
Yes, not Bradley Cooper, Star Wars Born drunk, but like so manic, and the stage was so small that I went flying. I played it off like I was a wrestling lunatic anyway, but I said I can't go up. I can't do that. Yeah. And I told Bert, I was like, I don't know if you need the beer. He's like, why not? I go, because you're just gonna rely on it. I said I found myself relying on it. Up top, and we're in college and doing this, and he's like, and he said to this day, he talks about it all. I mean, it's very humbling because I told him he doesn't need to do that. And anytime he's anywhere, he always brings that story up, and it's just it does take the edge off a little bit. And I to be a bit of a hypocrite to Bert, I would do like a shot, or I'd have like a beer beforehand too, but I didn't rely on it. Yeah, I never went up hammered.
I found myself towing that line sometimes because it's true. You do you're like, man, that last show was so funny. It was so good. And it's like, I had a couple drinks beforehand. Maybe that's why.
Yeah. If you rely on it though, that's where it becomes an issue, because it starts to fuck with your head a little bit more. Yeah. And then it does exactly what you just said. Well, maybe it's like that episode of Friends. I don't know if you watched Friends, but like, so when the drunk, what was the guy's name? Fun Tony or Fun, what was the guy's name? Fun Bobby. And it was when he was drunk, and when he was not drunk, he was boring.
He was boring as hell.
And so that's what gets into our heads, like, oh, I won't be any good. But it's like, what's in there, right? Like, it's really
just you without as many inhibitions.
Yeah, it's your nerves. That's all it is. It's your nerves. And as an actor, like you don't. Do you go hammered on a set?
I never do either. Like nothing. No, always clean.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's
even like offset.
Tell me about the movie, by the way. So you and Roxy did a movie together.
Yeah, it was.
So what was it? Tell me about it. I don't know a lot about it. I know nothing about it.
Yeah,
I know nothing.
I know nothing. It's like a coming of age dramedy about a group of friends that kind of are dealing with loss. In a way. And so it's crazy. Our friend wrote the script, and I did the first table read for it back in It was either in 2017 or 2018.
Right. Do you think when you're reading that script, do you think? Because a lot of projects, like, this is never going to go, but I'm helping the guy out.
Kind of.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, I knew that he was a good writer.
Right.
And it's funny because during filming, we went back, like me and a couple of the other actors that have known him for a long time. We went back and we read that version, and it's god awful compared to the one that's on screen now.
And he did the work and made it.
And he did the work. Yeah. And it was already a good script back then. So it's crazy to look at how much he'd done over the last few years. But it was like, it was one of those experiences when you're just surrounded by nothing but like talent,
right?
Like great
and people who just want to work right now
and just want to work, and they're all really talented people. They're all really humble people. The movie was great. Ohio was super awesome. I'd never been to.
Is that where it was? It was in Ohio. What part of Ohio?
Oxford, Ohio, where Miami University is.
Okay.
And it's a cool little college town. And since it was small, and Jeff actually. Jeff and a couple of the actors, Jeff is the director and writer, they're alumni of Miami University.
So they have to do some shit?
Yeah, I mean, they knew the place. They were able to talk to the school. He actually teaches a film class there. Yeah. So we got to use a bunch of cool-ass locations all over Ohio. Yeah. We were out in the woods shooting some camping scenes.
What's your character?
He's like the love interest in the movie. But
to who?
To Roxy. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
It's two people.
Don't fucking bury the lead.
I know.
So that was my question, because I saw it, because we played with that in the Schmodown a little bit, but like, so, all right. So for the people who don't know, or too, is that, I mean, and we've talked about this many times, so it's nothing crazy, but like, so Ben and Roxy, they had a thing for a long time, but like, so it's acting. You guys are professionals, but do you have to call Ben and tell him this? Like,
I did.
Yeah,
I did call him because Roxy let me know, because I didn't know who had been cast in the movie other than 1 or 2 other people.
Yeah.
And there's like essentially 6 main characters.
Right.
It's like a true ensemble cast. And I found out that Roxy was brought on, or like I'd say in the middle of finding out who all were involved, because there was
the co-lead.
Yeah, is the co-lead. I mean, she's Lola, and the movie's called Always Lola.
Right.
So when I first found out, I was like, "Holy shit! This is really interesting," because I already knew who I was playing, and 100%. I know who she's playing.
And you know the script, so you're like, "Well, I got to call. Call Ben."
Yeah. So I'm sitting there. I'm in the sauna at the gym, and I was like, "Wow, okay, this is how
I'm gonna call you from the sauna and let you know, hey, buddy,
hey, my new feature film. I'm in with your girlfriend."
Calling, yeah. Hold on, let me finish it. My balls are a little sweaty. By the way, speaking of my balls,
just the truest LA moment.
Right.
Oh God. And it was I mean, I'm sure it was the same thing for Rox, and maybe not. I don't want to speak for her, but at first I was like, wow, this is interesting.
Right.
Oh no, it was because she didn't know who I was playing yet, because there's 3 males that are in the
Of course.
Yeah, and so I tell her, she's like, holy shit, this is, well, at least we have a lot to bring to set.
Right.
Because we have a history. And like
I
love Rox, but our, as you said, Ben and her had a thing for a very long time. Ben is my business partner and my best friend. Yeah. And Roxy is someone who I've worked with and known as a professional and as a friend for
a while.
5-6 years now.
And that's the thing that people don't understand, even though, and the common answer is always, which is very true, is we're professionals, we're actors. That's part of it. But there comes a part where you've got to take out emotions. I don't know the script. Yeah. I don't know the role. I don't know what the intimacy stuff is, as far as how long, what happens, if it's a kiss, if it's more, whatever it might be. It's still a thing that has to play inside of your head, whether you separate from Andrew Ghai to your character's name. Yes. So it's just part of it.
I mean, she is the most professional, and so it made it very easy on set. We were both all the actors that were involved were like really, really great, and they had a lot of great rich backstory for their characters. So, but all that being said, it was still Andrew Ghai and Roxy on set. And I have to say, I'm so glad that it was Rox, because not only did she do a great job, but like it was a cool way for us to kind of have a new chapter in our friendship. Yeah. Like it'd been so long since we did the hosting together back at the studios, that's who knows if it's going to open up again or not. And that was, at AfterBuzz. And then, with her and Ben, you're kind of like the third wheel a lot of the time, or just like his friend. Sure. I hadn't seen her in so long. Right.
And this is your thing. Like your passion is acting. Your passion is character, and hers is as well. And you're both really good hosts and very good pundits. But that's your heart lies in acting. So it is almost like separating the world of like everything you just said. Here's all the stuff that we used to do, but this is my world and your world and everybody else. We're in Ohio. Right now. That's the acting world. No, it doesn't exist, because you were, as you should be, lost to the rest of us at that point, because you're so locked into what you were doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and it was kind of we all became, it felt like summer camp. Yeah, honestly,
it's always what the long movies are, or a good show is.
A few weeks all together, you spend all day, every single day together, even when you're not filming. You hang out and all that. But I'm excited, man.
When's it come out?
We're trying to get into South by. So that's
great.
So that's the first thing. That's the first obstacle, which means it has to get edited very, very quickly. And I know that Jeff's already working on that with someone else. And then after that, I think there's going to be a few more festivals. So they're saying like fall of 2020 is when it'll be able for everyone to see it.
You mean not 2020?
Or sorry, 2022. I was like,
you got a DeLorean?
Yeah. Fall of 2022 is when I think everyone will be able to see it. And I'm really excited. I usually don't watch dailies at the end of the day.
You've been checking them out?
I did. I checked them out throughout most of the shooting, and it was just beautiful.
That's great.
It was like really well done.
Smart for him too. He makes a lot of connections on working at AfterBuzz and sees me. Like I said, and I don't blow smoke up your ass. You're a very talented actor. You've been one of the main guys in the Schmodown that I was able to build character off of, and it's because of you have natural instincts. You just do. So I'm sure. So. And Roxy is the same. So. Obviously, this guy saw the same thing, so I'm excited to see it. What's the name of the film called?
It's called Always Lola. You can look at it on IMDb. Go give it some love there if it's possible. And when it comes out, look out for it. It's gonna be good.
So you seem, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you seem like once you have work like you just did, it's almost like it eases your pain a bit, right? Like it eases and you can calm down a bit. But then if you're not working, you're fucking antsy. And
I mean, in general, LA makes you feel kind of that way, and being surrounded by so many talented friends that are always going and getting it. You for instance, you're always working every single day, and you got a family and stuff like that. So you know how it is where you always feel like you got to do the next thing, but also being surrounded by people like that all the time, it encourages you to. So with acting, I think one of the hardest things is the victories are so few and far between. And then even after you do the job, you never have any idea how good it's going to look when it comes out in the edit. You don't know when it's going to come out. I mean, hell, I'm still waiting on one of my features from 2017.
Crazy.
Wrapped in 2017. It's 2021 now.
Budget, right?
Essentially, yes. I feel like if you have money, you can always expedite the process. Yeah. And I know that the director of that film really wants to edit it, but he's clearly taking his time.
2017. I finally finished it. I have 3 grandkids.
Yeah, I mean, he literally had a kid right after we wrapped filming. And so I gave him a year for that. But yeah, man, it does ease the pain. It makes, it's not that I don't love hosting. I do love hosting. I love doing what I do I love being on the desk for the MTS. I really do. I love being on the desk for Clash Royale, but it's just not that thing for me,
I get it. I mean, that's how I'm feeling right now. I think that's why I'm so grateful that this show came into my life, because you've got to be able to assess what's going on in your life and know when to move. Because if you stay still because of being comfortable or being scared, you're fucking dead.
Oh, 100. And like the pandemic made that process happen so much faster for a lot of people in either direction, whether you're just like, whatever, I'm just going to chill for a year. It's really hard to get going again,
It is, and it's like, and especially when you get caught up in something that works, and then when it's not working anymore, you're like, well, but it used to work. It's like, but it's not anymore. Mm-hmm. So
always got to adapt. Always got to evolve.
You got to move, because once you start seeing things not moving, you can listen to people who are going, oh, you're a little bit back.
This guy sounds smart.
But it's the same guy, like the guy, whether it's like if it's Schmodown or Big Thing, right? When Big Thing was on the main channel.
Oh, long gone are the days when Schmoes Know used to get 100,000 of views, and
that can, if you allow it, it can fucking kill you.
Yeah,
and it can be like, oh my god, like what is this guy right? Blah blah blah. But then you also say to yourself, well, wait a minute. If I'm taking all of this material that's on the Schmodown channel right now, and it's Schmodown, it's Big Thing, it's SEN Live. If a new audience member comes in and says, what the hell? I'm here for Schmodown. What the hell is Big Thing? What the hell? Right. I found this Big Thing show. What the hell is Schmodown? What's this thing with the robot? Like, oh, it's too much. I'm fucking out. And I saw that. That was part 1 of it. Part 2 is then people were like, oh, you're moving stuff over to a smaller channel. That's a big mistake. You shouldn't do that.
Meanwhile, they've never run anything.
And some people who have, who are like, you should have stayed on the channel with the most subscribers. Like, so the idea was then to say, like, okay, look, this is what I need to do here. I have lost my passion for at the time, whether it was like on SEN Live, it was a necessity to do the show with the donations and everything too, because YouTube doesn't pay.
Yeah, and there was also just like so many people that wanted things to do. They didn't have anything to do out there, and were trying to pay their bills.
100%.
And people that were trying to give away their bill money for entertainment.
Absolutely. And it was like, how do you interact with the audience, do all that? But then you got to listen to that audience that says, I have to be honest, I understand why you're doing what you're doing. I'm trying to listen to the show, and every 5 minutes, I'm not interactive with the show, but when I'm trying to get the actual conversation, I got a robot interrupt me. Right. The show's not for me. I'm out. How do you not understand that? 100%. So it was Ben Goddard and Brett who we were having the conversation. They're like, we think SEN Live really works for Twitch. And I was like, and the second they said it, I'm like, it 100% works for Twitch. That's the whole point of that show.
Yeah.
So we moved it over to Twitch. It's doing, like, we went from like 6,000 subscribers to over 7,000. They're doing really well. It's interactive. It's every day. They're having a lot of fun over there. Roxy's on there hosting 2 times a week. So, and all that. And then I was like, well, now I can do what I've always wanted to do with Big Thing, because because people were scared when I said I want to move it over to another channel and just do it there. They're like, what, but you're taking it off a channel with 297,000 subscribers and that. And I said, but here's the difference. And I showed you this earlier this morning. Right now, the Schmodown does anywhere between 10 to 25,000. We had big marketing on the Collision, and we hit like 200,000 viewers, whatever it was. But normally, 15, 20,000 views in an episode, right? What I'm very clear of and what I am very aware of is a lot of people who subscribe to that main channel originally were there for schmoes, no reviews. And some people are like, all right, well, that's not this show. I'm out. And then there's other people who were there for that show, the hardcore viewer, that we have to market everything towards Schmodown to bring in the new people who just know that channel as Schmodown. That's the experiment on that channel. That's what that channel is for now. This channel, for people who are curious about it, 13,000 subscribers right now, and we're averaging 10,000 an episode. Yeah. So the ratio on that is fantastic.
Yeah, that's insane.
So if we're able to continue to do that and move forward, because then be more interactive, that's the one thing I lost sight of when I started and you guys are very good at this on Action. In 2008, Mark and I would respond to every comment, talk to everybody, know your community, have that conversation. I posted something in Facebook and my Facebook page, and the interaction with the fans was extraordinary. The conversations.
Yeah, I've been seeing them.
Yeah, and I see people start to, and they're subscribing, and they're saying, and the common thing that I got out of it was, I'll be honest, they either bailed because of the robot, they didn't know what I was doing since Collider, they had all these things, but they were still following the page. I said, let me check it out. And they said, this is what I fell in love with you guys for in the first place. Just pure, uninterrupted conversation about whatever. There's a good topic I want, there's a guest I want to see. And you've got to be able to adapt and move and listen to the people that are into your stuff.
Well, yeah, and you wonder, like, what if you never stopped doing the one-on-one hour-long sit-down show for like year after year after year? That might have. Sometimes you have to leave something and come back to it, or at least give it a facelift. Or like you said, if the things are changing, or we need to cater to one thing because of a global pandemic,
right?
Then when you come out of it, things are going to be different again. That thing that worked during that time isn't going to work the same.
That's right.
And the thing that you've always loved doing, you can always go back to. And not that this is the exact same as what you used to do, but it's a hybrid.
Someone said it the other day, and I agree with them 1,000%, and that this is a hybrid. This show is a hybrid of Schmoes No Show, Collider Live, and one-on-one, all put together. Because sometimes I just have a guest like yourself, we just fucking bullshit.
Shoot the shit.
We go where we go. And sometimes I have 2 or 3 people on, and we'll do a deep dive of something, and I mean, like Sith Council has been that. Sith Council is the most true to when I started a show with Tiffany Smith on in like 2000, right before Jedi Council was even a thing, in like 2013. It was called Far, Far Away, and it was just this. It was 2 or 3 people talking. We weren't even on video. We were just audio, and we were just talking. Really? Yeah, it was a really fun show, and that ultimately turned into the idea of saying, well, let's try to do a Jedi Council show, and then the rest is history. But yeah, just to be able to do that, and I think that people, it's for podcasting and be able to talk, and people want to know not just things about like your life and like the great story we just heard about you and your passion for acting, but then to be able to shift and pivot and say, like, for example, like, I know you're a big TV guy, you're a big film guy, but you're like me. It's like not necessarily chasing after the screens. You go to the ones you want to go to.
Yeah. If it's like bad traffic or in a different part of town,
I'm just like, the hell with it.
I just don't know.
The hell with it. I'm fine. Someone lit a fire under my ass yesterday though, because they were like, dude, you've got like 5 days to watch Suicide Squad. It's going away from HBO Max. I still haven't watched it.
Oh wow.
Have you seen it yet?
No, I'm glad you told me. I didn't know it was leaving. Maybe I'll do that tonight.
I might even, to be honest with you, after you leave today, I might just put it on my TV. I might even do like a spoiler review. At this time, I might, who knows? I could be bullshitting myself, but I might even have a spoiler review on the channel at this point.
Well, hopefully you do. I mean, I heard it was really good.
I heard it was really good. I can't wait to see it. But to thank God to that commenter who was like, you got like 5 days, dude.
I know. I can't remember. I mean, well, actually, I do remember. It was Wonder Woman 1984 was the one that I missed. It like left HBO for a while and came back, and
Yeah. Did you wind up seeing it?
I did. Yeah, exactly. Right. I didn't feel too bad about it, but I would be bummed if I missed Suicide Squad. It is kind of goofy. I think it was better than I thought it was going to be because I heard so much hate about it.
I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it.
It's goofy and a lot of it doesn't make any sense, but I didn't hate watching it. The Suicide Squad is the one that I'm gonna watch. Suicide Squad stinks.
I don't think I'll ever watch it again.
Loved the Snyder Cut.
You know what? I did too.
Yeah,
I did. I was gonna say, you know what I've been loving doing is watching these horrible straight to Netflix releases.
How do you do that?
I don't know why I do it. Like Without Remorse. There was Beckett.
Without Remorse is the Liam Neeson one, right?
No, that was the Michael B. Jordan.
Oh,
one.
right, the Clancy one. The Clancy one. I saw that too, because that novel I read a long time ago. It has nothing to do with this movie.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
Completely different.
They're all so bad. They remind me of like that genre of 90s action thrillers where it was just like, just put someone famous in it, a horrible story, we'll just have them kick someone's ass for a while.
Right.
Beckett was the most recent one I watched with John David Washington and Alicia Vikander. It's horrible. It's literally, it's horrible.
So much stuff. There's so much stuff to watch. And it's like all of these things and we're going to talk about, I know that everybody, you might have tuned in to hear us talk about the DC Fandom thing. We're going to talk about the trailer in a second, but I have to tell you, because I tell everyone who's on this damn show, I have talked about this. I've been watching The Sopranos over and over and over again. My wife is not happy with me at the moment.
I'm sure.
This thing, this fucking picture. So for those,
which camera is even set up?
It's not a camera.
Oh,
it's a screenshot. It looks like it, right? But that's how it looks on the wall at the moment. But like so for those people who are audio listeners right now, there is, if you're hardcore Sopranos fans, and I got to send this to Steve Sciarippa, who's following me now, and I have to tell him that I bought this. This is a picture of Tony and the horse Pyomai, and in season 4, he gets a picture of himself, and he's wearing a suit, and he's got a glass up, but then the horse winds up dying, right? And he gets all pissed off, and he goes, throw it out, because it gets there, throw it out. And he throws it out, and Paulie has the guys they're burning it, and he has them take it out of the trash, and he hangs it up, but he doesn't like Tony staring at him all day long. So he goes and has a guy retouch it and paint him like the fucking Napoleon. It paints him like Napoleon. And it's even, if you look at it, it's even like faded like the way it was in the inside.
Yeah.
And I said, I have to get this. And I'll be completely honest with you. I definitely bought it way bigger than I thought I was going to.
I was going to say it's like 3 feet by.
It's massive, but I wouldn't change a thing. I moved anything that was over there is gone. It owns the wall.
It's got its own special place in the studio.
It absolutely owns the wall, and I love it. It's like my most prized possession right now. I love it. I feel like fucking Paulie Walnuts.
Are you excited for the show?
The movie, you mean?
The movie, yeah.
Why do you think I'm doing the rewatch?
Well, I know you.
I'm season 5 into the rewatch right now, and I'm just looking through all of the references to the old days.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of them.
Yeah.
And it plays in, like, there's this one scene in season 5 when Adriana is talking to, sorry if you're getting spoiled by The Sopranos now, I apologize, but Adriana's talking to the feds, and she's in it, and she starts talking about how Tony's not really related to Dickie Moltisanti or Chris Moltisanti. He always saw Dickie as a brother, so he calls Chris his cousin. It's Carmela's cousin, but he always calls him that. So even when you see it in the trailer, when he's just like your nephew, it's not his nephew. It's not his. It's just they're not related.
I watched it like right when it came out, or like a couple years after. I guess a couple years after it ended, so I could watch the whole thing.
Yeah, because when you told me you watched it in college, I was like, dude, I started watching it in college. You were running around in diapers at that point.
Yeah, so I guess I did watch it in college, but it was after a while afterwards. And so I watched it all the way once through, and I think I just need to go back and do what you're doing.
You should.
I loved it.
You should watch it before the. I can't tell you, and I get it at least once a video for this. People go, because you've been watching it. I started watching it. Either people who've never seen it before, or people rewatching it, because the movie comes out on my birthday.
Okay.
So my wife is already making a baked ziti, and I'm gonna get a bottle of wine, and I'm just gonna fucking take my bathrobe and sit with my. I'm probably gonna grab a newspaper, even though I don't know, do people even do newspapers anymore? And I'm just gonna go, and I'll probably play the Wake Up This Morning song right beforehand. Sit down, and nobody will bother me.
Just living your best life.
I might even watch it here so I can be with the painting.
You can have someone paint a portrait of you sitting on the couch watching it
with the glass of wine.
Yeah.
I should just take the dude. I should take my. Where is he? I don't even know where he is. Is he sleeping over there? Where did he go? Who knows where he went?
Who knows? He's adorable though. I love that dog.
He's sleeping under the hoverboard.
He's freaking adorable.
He's adorable. He's great.
Has it been good, or has it been a pain in the ass? Because puppies can be a pain in the ass.
Column A, column B.
Yeah,
he's adorable, and he knows it. But he's a little bastard sometimes.
Of course.
He runs around. He goes under this. This fucker loves to eat figs. He just chews on figs. I'm like, cut it out. And then he does this thing where he's like, oh, you want to fuck with me? And then he runs.
He just pieces out.
My wife yesterday was chasing him. So did you see that little like playhouse when you walked in?
Yeah.
So it's for my 3-year-old. It's for me. But before it's for my to get away from it all. Just sit there and
never seen her play.
No, it's like Russell. It's like Russell Crowe in Beautiful Mind. I just sit there just drawing on the walls. But no, and he was eating a fig. So he fucked with her and he started going like really fast. And she said she looped the house like 6 or 7 times. And she said, what the fuck am I doing? And she stopped and cut him off and then got him. But like, yeah, yesterday he was, and he hasn't been peeing or shitting in the house. But
that's good.
But yesterday he took a dump in the house. And it's like, once out of the 3 weeks that we've got him.
I mean, that's great.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. But he's still, and he sleeps. He sleeps. I mean, he's out cold right now. That's why I'm able to do this. Yesterday, we were taping a match. I won't say what match it is, but we were taping a match, and he was not in sleep mode. Mm-hmm. He was in destruction mode, and I hear things falling in the background, like he's chewing on wires. I said, hold on a second. It's like, it's part of being a puppy.
That's what you got to do.
It's part. I mean, the dog is 10 weeks old.
Yeah, I mean, Snickers is a very good boy now. Yeah. He's like almost 3.
Right.
But a big part of it is that you got to be hard on them when they're puppies.
100%.
It's hard though because they're so goddamn cute.
And when they whine, if they do a little, like my daughter, the oldest today, was just like, oh, I heard him whine. I felt so bad. I go, he's a con artist.
They are.
I said, he's a con artist. I said, do not fall for that because that's how he gets you.
Yep.
He gets you with her. You know what I say to when he does it? Stop it.
Yeah, me too.
Cut it out.
I'm always like, I used to do the same thing. I was like, knock it off. No, none of that.
Absolutely not. Stop it.
Yep.
I do this fake thing now because like I've got to, at night, he's a great puppy because he sleep. My old one, Taz, who was a fucking lunatic, he used to wait. He was whining and he'd bark at night. He's like, fuck that. Bring me in the bed. I will bark until my asshole falls out. Yeah. He's like, you bring me in that bed. I had no family or anything. So I was a sucker. I brought him into the bed.
Because of Taz.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But like with my wife and the kids, and I was worried he's gonna be barking. So but he doesn't. But he goes out. He gets up, and I wind up going to sleep on the couch for like the last 2 hours of the night, so he doesn't wake anybody up because he's Anthony. He's moving around. Mm-hmm. So I put him on his bed, and he does this. He was doing this thing where he would get up, he'd put his legs up on the couch, and go. Arr! But I do this fake mad thing. I'm like, I'm not really mad. I go, and he goes, just like, he doesn't know like what the fuck's going on, and then he comes back on and he goes, like, and then he goes, oh fuck it, and he just goes back to sleep, and it's worked every time since. And it's just like fake. And I told my wife it's like a fake angry thing that I do, and I gotta like channel like, and I'm like not mad, but it's like I'm not scaring him. It's more like
he's just like doesn't know how to. He's respond.
Just like, now he knows like, oh, he doesn't want to play right now.
Yeah,
this is me. I got to go back to sleep.
You're gonna have to do that for the rest of your life,
probably
the rest of his life.
Yeah, but which is I've been to be honest, I do that anyway. You know, it's like how many times you see me in the Schmodown? I was like, hey, I was thinking about my character. Oh no.
I'm busy.
Leave me alone. Anyway, so you guys have been pretty great waiting for us to talk about this trailer, and I know. They ran a trailer today on. Or yesterday, rather, when we taped this. The DC Fandom trailer dropped about all the stuff that they're going to show. And last year, they took the house down when they all the stuff that they showed last year because they did, and it was during the pandemic, and they showed a bunch of trailers and stuff and news, and it stole the internet. I mean, Disney Plus had their thing later on down the line, did great. And Disney Plus is going to do another one this year, and they'll probably show a whole bunch of stuff, and it'll steal headlines that day as well. But the stuff that DC's got coming out right now, out of all the stuff, I'm very excited about the Batman.
Yep.
When back in Collider Live days, it was myself and Roxy. I thought Pattinson from day one was the choice before he got cast.
Really?
Oh yeah. You can go back and watch that episode of Collider Live. They asked us who we wanted, and I said Pattinson.
Where did that come from?
Dude, the guy's a fucking great actor.
I know. I've heard so many people say this. What is your movie that I should watch?
So the one that there's two, and I'm just I'm going to bring it up because I would never. I would lose every Schmodown I played right now. My recall is so bad.
You just let that part of your brain die once you stop.
I want to tell you, Rover is the one. Yes.
Is the one where he plays a fireman? No.
Let me double check. Rover, Robert Pattinson. I think that's the one.
I don't know why I feel like I've just turned him off in my brain, even though people love him.
He's I know why you turned him off, because most people did.
Because of Twilight.
Because of Twilight.
Right?
And it's the same conversation I had with Winston when Winston was on the show. He's like, no way, never happened. He can't be. He won't. I'm like, dude, you cannot judge the guy. You're essentially, as an actor, you're typecasting him, right? Because you haven't
seen
that
he did so long ago that made him millions of dollars.
Right. And this movie, dude, watch The Rover.
Okay.
That's the movie that
I liked him in Tenet. I thought he was fine. But he did a great job for what he was supposed to do.
And he was good in the Harry Potter movie, but he was in the other one is Good Times, I think it's called, is the one.
The Rover.
Oops.
I think I maybe saw that streaming recently.
You should watch that one. It's right up your alley. But Good Time is the Robert Pattinson one. So that's the other one. You watch those two movies,
and I'll be on board.
You'll be on board immediately.
So you called it before he even got cast.
Roxy
because
and
of
I
that.
did. Yeah, we talked because of that movie. I said, this guy, and I remember to be completely fair, I was also in that same boat of the Twilight kid when I saw The Rover. And Ellis and I, that's back in the day when we saw everything.
Yeah.
It's 2014, so we saw everything. And I remember going, all right, let's see with this guy. And I was like, that fucking kid was good. Like, really good. Like, I mean, like, Oscar winning type of actor,
right?
Like, he's got the chops, and so I love him in that he's cast in this role. I am excited for, and Matt Reeves is another one very similar. When I loved the first Planet of the Apes, the one with James Franco when it came out, and then it was Rupert. I always get it wrong. Rupert Wyatt, right? And Rupert Wyatt was the director, and he left. And I'm like, come on, they had a director. It's perfect. Like Matt Reeves. I was like, the guy that did the vampire movie? And I love Dawn even better than I like the first one.
I thought they were I love that trilogy.
Love that
trilogy. I'm a big fan of it.
Me too. Love it. So when Matt Reeves got put on, I was like, sign me up. Matt Reeves, Pattinson, and this is 100% I want to see this movie. It is not the one I want to see the most, though.
Really?
Anymore. How do you not want to see Keaton back as Batman?
Okay.
You know what I mean? In the Flash.
Yeah.
That's why, they had me with the Batman, but I'm very curious because I've never been a massive, people swear by Batman and people love Batman Returns. I hate that fucking movie.
Really?
Oh, I think it's so stupid.
I'm a big fan of Batman Returns.
A lot of people are.
Yeah.
A lot of people are. I think that the first Batman is a great superhero film. It put Batman on the map as far as films go. But the second one was a Tim Burton movie through and through.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's fair for sure.
Yeah, and it stopped being a Batman movie. And although I will agree with everyone, Dorina mostly, best Catwoman today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's the hands down, without a doubt,
100%.
the best Catwoman we've ever seen.
Yes.
And Hathaway did a pretty good job, but it
Me
wasn't
too.
the same thing as
Catwoman.
Selena Kyle back in the day.
No, I liked the spin because Nolan took that real approach, and she was a cat burglar, and then how they played into it. I thought Anne Hathaway was very good in the role, but
I was in love and terrified at the same time.
Of
the first
Hathaway?
time I saw it. No. The first time
Michelle
I saw Returns.
Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
She is the best part of it, and the relationship that they have is that part of it that does play in. It's like the first movie is 70% Batman, 30% Tim Burton film.
Yes,
with a heavy focus on really. It's really a Joker film even more so than
it's Nicholson again. Yeah,
it's Nicholson, but it still had all those moments, right? The second movie is 70% Burton with 30% of Batman, and I love the Batman stuff inside of it. It's great.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, the Batman stuff's great. The Penguin is ridiculously silly. I can't.
He's ridiculous, and Walken is over the top as well. But they're both. I mean, I kind of love that movie.
Most people do. I don't. But those two movies, I love Pfeiffer and I love Keaton as Batman.
Yeah.
He didn't come back to the third.
One
of the best. He didn't come back to the third one because Burton wasn't coming back, so he didn't want to come back. And then they were changing the direction. They went more
They went deeper into the cartoony part, even past Tim Burton.
Yes, and see, I was never into the cartoon part of it. I was more of the lore, and the Nolan stuff is hands down my favorite stuff.
Yeah, because it feels grounded in a real reality.
Yeah, and it because Batman was the reason why he spoke to so many people is that he doesn't have superpowers. He's a smart motherfucker, used money to do it, and he's got issues, and the stuff that he used, he was able to make it work. And I think Ben Affleck did a great job as Batman. I think that I think Pattinson's going to be really great, but to me the Nolan Bale ones are my favorite. But Keaton, he's like the Christopher Reeve of Batman.
Yeah, a lot of the time I'll feel like Christian Bale had the best Bruce Wayne. Yeah. I don't know, but for some reason still I think Keaton when I think Batman. Just because he's such an OG. He wore the cowl so well. He had a great voice. Yeah. I'm really excited to see him in The Flash. And I know that Affleck's back for... Isn't he back?
He's coming back too. So I think... So I assume... I think it's that movie also. Is it? I'm not sure. So. But even if it is, then it... this is where I really am happy with the kind of WCW, WWF thing that they have going on with Marvel and DC because they stayed... Because you get the Spider-Verse movie and then the No Way Home where you're going to have obviously the Doc Ock and Green Goblin, and you would assume Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Yeah. You would assume that, and then you still get to see that in the DC side of it, and it's not like it's not one of these things anymore because I think DC has shifted so well over the last like 5 years. I think initially they were going after and trying to compete with Marvel. Yeah. Now they're doing their standalone things, whether it's Joker and these other, and they got Black Adam coming out, which we'll talk about in a second.
I want to talk about that as well.
Absolutely. And you have all these different things that they've done, and their structure, they've worried less about chasing Marvel, and they're just focusing in on what they have, on the products that they have, and doing something like this. This is not them going, well, Marvel is doing it, so we're going to do it. This is a storyline that they had inside of DC that they've had, and they might have even done it first. I don't know my comic history as much as, Coy or Winston or anybody too. So, but either way, the fact that they have this going on with bringing in Michael Keaton, if Ben Affleck, this to me is the most exciting. I would go this one, I would go that one, and then Black Adam, right? Which David, you're talking about your movie from 2017. I remember being on Movie Talk talking about Black Adam in like 2014.
Yeah, I remember talking about it back in the day on Collider Heroes as well when it was first announced. Yeah, so the thing that I think is interesting about what you're just saying is like, I brought this up a moment ago about the cinematographer from The Flash saying that it's not a superhero movie, that it's more grounded.
Did he say that?
He said that, and he says it has like bigger stakes, it's like grand, and it's like more about the story and all that. I just think it's such a weird thing to say because we've seen that superhero movies with the MCU can be about bigger story issues and like real interpersonal connections. I just thought that was a really... It made me feel a little weird about The Flash, even though I want to be super excited about it.
It's hard to say that about The Flash, though, because The Flash has superpowers.
He's like, it's a straight superhero movie.
You can say that about Batman.
He says it's not based in reality, but it's a much more kind of technically complex. I think all the filmmakers are really keen that the technical complexity of the storytelling doesn't get in the way of just good quality filmmaking.
That's different, though.
Well, that's only part of it. Okay. But he does say that it's not a superhero film. Period. He said it's complex with a massive scale, though. Like that they're mutually exclusive, which I don't think they are.
Well, to be fair, we haven't seen the film yet.
Well, yeah, and I'm going to watch it.
Right, and I think I want to see how that plays in because they've got me on board ready for this one. Yeah, I'm pumped for it. And the Black Adam, I'm absolutely. I mean, Adam Sandler, the late great Robin Williams. There are certain people that I just root for in the business. They could put out there's tons of Adam Sandler movies that are just terrible. Yeah. I always root for them to do well.
Same. I love Adam Sandler.
I've met him before. He's a sweetheart of a human being. But he takes and even if you never met him before, the stuff you read about him, how he takes care of his friends, he's a family guy. Like it's impossible not to root for him. The Rock is the same way for me. I root for The Rock. Same thing. Opportunity to it just went a long way to me. Worked with him back in the day, and then when I met him again, treated me like I was an old college friend. Right. And to be honest, if he even remembered me, probably not. But so the way that he does that with everyone, not just people that are interviewing him. He just did a whole thing recently. There's people, I don't know if you saw this on. There was a
Hollywood tourist thing.
There's a Hollywood Star Tours. They're just driving by, and he pulls up. He didn't have to do it. He could have just drove by. He's like, I'm not in the mood for this. He didn't do that. Right. He did his thing, and he just made people smile and
made their day.
How do you not root for that guy? It's like,
I agree, man. Yeah. I love The Rock. I love Dwayne Johnson. Yeah. There's just something about him. It's like you're saying, everyone wants him to win, and it's because he kind of does have that Rocky story. I mean, and how appropriate, and he cares, and like you can tell that everyone that works with him has nothing but the best things to say about him, other than one person out there in the world, and that's all a lot of like who knows about. But that's also just
not everybody's going to love you.
Yeah,
and but it's the question: does the majority love you?
And we do. We all do. I am so kind of nervous for this movie. I don't know why. Yeah. I like
Did you like Shazam?
Yes, I did. I really like Shazam. I love The Rock, but it's been a long time since I've seen something that he's done performance-wise that I'm like, damn, dude. Like, because he doesn't have
Faster?
to. Faster, no.
See Faster is a good movie, yeah. And Snitch. Faster and Snitch are the two that the acting chops are.
Come through. I mean, because I remember, is it Be Cool, where he has the great moments? He's really good in there. It was fun to see him play against type. I just want to be wowed. I just want to be wowed by his performance because I know he's got it in charisma. I know he's got the stature for it. I know he's going to be a badass superhero. But like my favorite things in superhero movies are those moments that bring us back down to reality and remind us like why we care about this person. And I already care about him as a real human being, so I don't think it'll be that hard, but I want to see that thing, man.
Yeah, you know, the thing is he's in a tricky spot right now because he's one of the last, I believe, real movie stars out there right now. Now, it doesn't mean that his movies always do massive box office, right? But his name carries a lot of weight as far as, okay, well, The Rock has a new movie. That doesn't happen often anymore. Normally, now it's more so about like, well, Nolan's got a new movie coming out. Patty Jenkins has a new movie coming out.
Or these people are working together again.
Yeah, and Scorsese has another movie. The director has really kind of taken that is more of a thing as opposed to it's either director or it's genre premise.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, oh, there's this crazy sci-fi movie with Emily Blunt coming out. Oh, it's got Emily Blunt in it, and it's this crazy thing that I like. Great.
But not a lot of people saw Mary Poppins, Returns or whatever she was
right.
in. Yeah.
And it's like, but then you look, like Jungle Cruise is not necessarily a movie that
I heard that was good.
I enjoyed it. I had fun watching it. But it's not one of those movies that, oh, I can't wait to see the Jungle Cruise movie. Yeah. It's because The Rock and Emily Blunt were in it. It's star power 100%. That happened to do it, and you got the weight with Disney Plus behind it. Now they announced Jungle Cruise 2, because of that reason. Their chemistry was so good. So he's got that thing where, he's got the star power. So I hear what you're saying. I want to see him do smaller movies and focus on that. But right now, he's still getting offered every other movie.
And he will for God knows how long.
For a while.
It's gonna be at least another decade.
He's got that massive Netflix deal that he got, that he's doing a whole bunch of. And I did this whole report on this show recently of the amount of money that Netflix is paying stars right now.
It's incredible.
Insane, the money that they're able to pay the stars. And that's why on Monday we put out an episode where we had a conversation of whether or not we thought same-day streaming of theaters is hurting the business. I watched
some of that. Yeah.
So the majority of the fans are against it. And I understand 100%, right? And I still think realistically the 30 to 45-day window is probably the best option for it overall. But streaming that's the business now.
It is.
It's the business now because that's how people take in their material, the smaller movies, all this stuff. I'm not telling you that theaters are dead. Theaters are never going to be dead. It's just not. I thought at one point maybe they will, but they won't be.
Yeah.
Star Wars, Marvel, DC, Dune, movies like that need to be seen in the theater. Now, whether or not Dune's going to do well in the theater, I don't know.
Yeah,
because
it's a big question mark.
I'm excited for that one, though.
Me too.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you not be?
Yeah,
it's like the cast is absolutely insane. There's people in it that I didn't even know. Like I forgot that Javier Bardem was even in that movie because the rest of the cast is so stacked.
So stacked. It really
Denis,
is.
Like the whole thing. It's. But also, it's crazy because I keep hearing the same thing that you just said, which is a lot of people are like, is it going to do well at the box office?
You know what?
Which seems crazy.
Why do you think it might do not well?
I think that Dune is like a very niche property that a lot of people won't care about. Yeah. Denis Villeneuve is like a name where you and I
Film
are like,
nerds
oh, wow, yeah, exactly. Where the general public like, wait, which ones did he do again? Oh, but he did that movie.
100%.
I kind of like that movie, whatever it is.
Oh, he did that one. Like if I call I always use my buddy John Pinto as like the guy, is like the average fan who watches everything and loves everything, has no fucking idea who Denis Villeneuve is. Has no idea. And it's like, if I say to him, hey, Dune, I can't wait. He's like, oh yeah, who's directing? He's going to go, Tarantino? No, not Tarantino. Nolan? No, not Nolan. And
then who? Who cares?
Then who? Then I was like, Denis Villeneuve. Who's that? He did that movie Arrival. Who's in that one? And the Adams. Oh, I think I remember liking that one. As opposed to us, we've gone back and forth and watched it 100 times.
Every single thing.
Yeah.
And you look at Chalamet and Zendaya. Excuse me. Yeah. They have a pull with a younger audience that I don't know if they bridge the gap between Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya and Dune.
Right.
There's like 30 plus years there that need to get covered. And then I feel like the other people maybe aren't marketed the correct way, but there's so many people. Like, how do you focus on Isaac? How do you focus on Brolin? So I don't know. While the trailers are really awesome for people like you and me and a lot of people probably listening and watching the show, I do the same thing that you do with your buddy, which is like, well, what about my family is the exact same thing. Yeah. Are they going to care? And I guarantee you, I think out of my 3 sisters and my mom, maybe one of the 4 will see them with their partner.
I know. What I'm wondering here is there's a lot of, well, I guarantee you this is what's going to happen because Denis Villeneuve has already been out there talking about how he doesn't want
streaming at all.
No, he doesn't want streaming at all. They're going to blame, if it doesn't do well, they're going to blame it on the same day stream. And so majority of the people, they're going to blame it on that. That's the first part of it. What I think that they should have done, because they already announced a Dune television series.
Right.
It's announced. I think they should have done the TV series first. Put it on HBO Max.
Get people excited about it.
And you put those budgets, you can handle the budgets, and then do a movie. Because then it's like, okay, unless, depending on where it, I think that what they're trying to do, which makes sense overall, and whether it's the old school thinking or could potentially still work, is, and if it does well, then they're going to be the ones that obviously were in the right. But you put out this movie, you get the hype, you get everybody excited about it, and then you fire into a TV series, right? I just think that you can hype up the TV series first and then jump into a movie.
Yeah.
Because like I think Mandalorian should eventually have a movie, right? Because you've already, now that Mandalorian has established all, like I would much rather, and I've said this 1,000 times over, that I would much rather have, if you're going to do Star Wars movies, make them big episodes or season finales of the TV series. Because you're already invested in it. So if you're like, so imagine, have you been watching Mandalorian?
No, I'm one of those people.
All right.
Like, there's 10 of us.
But it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. It's one of my, it bounces back and forth. Maybe like my 3rd or 4th like favorite in order of stuff. But what I would love to see, whether it's eventually, let's say they said, we're going to announce season 4 is the last season, or season 5 is the last season. Well, season 5 is going to end in November, and then in December, the movie, which is ultimately going to be the series finale, comes out. You can only see it in theaters, and then 45 days later, it'll be on Disney Plus. To me, that's like a no-brainer.
It's so weird because half the properties out there you think, or whatever number percentage it is, it's like the TV series before the movie makes sense. But then there's those movies like, Animal Kingdom is a movie I love. It came out in 2010, but I've never cared to watch the TV show. There's a handful of those out there that they've had really great movies and then actually pretty successul TV shows where I don't care.
Right.
But then the other side of it, you look at like what Marvel's doing, or you look at what Dune's doing, where it's going to be movie first, then series. So I don't really understand the rhyme or reason. Maybe it has to do with like known property, things like that. But I don't know if I would have watched the Dune TV show. Maybe I will watch.
That's true, because maybe you'll be inclined to watch, because even if it doesn't do very well, but you love the movie, then you're going to watch the series.
Probably.
Yeah. So I guess, like you said, there's really you take your shot, and because there's only a few movies left on HBO Max for this deal that they got going on for the full year of playing it. It's Dune. The ones that I really Many Saints in Newark. Yeah, people are going to finally be. They're going to be so excited because I'll finally stop talking about The Sopranos. I'll talk about Many Saints in Newark probably for like 3 to 5 months.
I got hyped watching that trailer.
So good.
So excited.
I was not as excited for it until I saw the trailer.
Yeah,
because there was rumors that there was going to be a movie like forever. And then there was the prequel, and then they talked about Johnny Boy Soprano, and they talked about everything. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I had forgotten about it, to be honest. And when that trailer hit, it just ignited my love for it all over again.
The music in it, the way it feels, everything. The ominous tone beneath it, all of the things.
You can tell that David Chase is really involved with it.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect for an HBO Max release. That one more so than ever because, like you said, if you wanted to, you could do what I'm doing and rewatch all of The Sopranos, and then you get to the prequel. I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that one, I think that one's going to blow up because of the HBO Max thing. I think this is so well on HBO Max. I don't even know if it's a theatrically released movie. I have no idea.
I don't either, but I think people are going to watch it. I think a lot of people
are going to watch that shit like over it. That one's going to be so popular on HBO Max.
Yeah.
I am crossing my fingers that they make a prequel series. Like the
whole series,
like
even after the movie.
Let me see Tony Soprano, and you can follow his kid.
On his way up.
Yeah, Gandolfini's kid is like 18, 19 years old. Let's see like a couple seasons of young Tony Soprano.
He's just. Obviously, because he's a kid. I didn't know it was him at first.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was his kid at first.
Oh, really?
The first time I watched the trailer, I was like, who is that?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, no shit.
But the thing is, it's everything that he does. Because there are times there are actors' kids. You're like, oh, is that so and so's kid? Like, oh yeah, I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
There's a shot in the trailer there's two shots. There's one is like, I can get caught with shit like this, and it's like fucking Tony.
Yeah.
And then there's another shot where he's leaning over the guy after he's beating the shit out of him, and it took me back to season 1 when he's pummeling the guy in the face. It's like, it's I can't wait. I'm so that one, but then Matrix is the other one.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've heard so much about it. I don't know what to do with my expectations with this one because I'm
2 and 3 stink.
2 and 3 they stink. I mean, I grew up in the
2 could have been okay. 2 could have been okay if 3 was good.
Yes, exactly. I was gonna say because 2 they just like get worse and worse progressively.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Matrix changed my life, right? Like that made me look at movies a whole different way. I remember going to the theater with my sister. I still remember the first moments when you see Trinity getting away and she jumps through that window.
Oh yeah,
like me at 12 years old, I was just I couldn't believe it. So now that so much time has passed. I mean, so much time has passed. You think about what they can do in the fact, like with what Keanu's in his star power. You think about what he's been doing with his training for John Wick. You think about what they can do with the CGI, John Wick, Baba Yaga, all of that stuff. I'm so excited, but I don't know. I got let down twice. Yeah. Can they do it again?
I don't know. It's just what I hope that the Wachowskis don't do this time is get too intricate. Like even though the first Matrix is complex, it's still fairly simple.
It's not convoluted. It's complex.
Right.
Yes.
And it's when you look at it, it's like, okay, I understand, because a lot of people, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, you do. He's connected to the fucking thing in the future, but it connects him to this computer. It's potentially that he is the chosen one to stop all this shit. Right. That's it.
That's really it.
That's really it.
The chosen one story. And
oh my god, the second one with all the
Smiths,
the Smiths, the duplications of Smith is now a fire. It's like too much.
Yeah.
And then the stupid rave scene, and then the third one, and then the third one just goes off the edge.
It's all the twins, right?
Yeah, it's too much. It's just give me simple. But what they're gonna have to do, because Trinity is dead, and Neo's dead. How did they come back? Is this other replicate? I think I have to go back. You know, I recently watched the first one again, and I could watch the first one.
It's
when I say recently, it was like last year, but it's perfect. I started watching the second one, and I started watching. I'm like, all right, you know, whatever. And I remember, and I just got bored, and I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna go back to it. And I do want to rewatch 2 and 3 because I feel like you're still gonna have to know some stuff to feel like,
you gotta revisit the trilogy.
I'm gonna revisit it. I'm gonna watch it again. But anyway, so those are the ones. Dune, Many Saints of Newark.
For me, the one that I feel like Batman is obvious when we were with the DC Fandom
the DC
thing.
One, yeah.
I mean, but Black Adam is the biggest question mark for me. I want it to be so good.
The Batman?
No, Black Adam.
Oh, Black Adam.
I just want it to be so good.
Yeah.
Batman, I feel like will be great.
Yes.
Just like with Pattinson and how much people are excited about him. Reeves, like you're saying, I love what he's done.
Right.
And the trailer looked really badass. It felt like the right tone for me. I just want Black Adam to be great.
I feel like it's going to be really good, and I'll tell you, because I think that because The Rock has been attached to this thing for so long,
he cares a lot.
He cares a lot about it.
Yeah,
he really does, and I think that he and he's going to have The Rock back when he was with WWF, as it was called. When he was a heel, he was a great heel, and he's got that edge to him. That if he can bring that edge, we haven't seen that edge. What you were talking about earlier with him, we haven't seen that in a bit. So
because Black Adam he's not just like your by the numbers superhero, right?
No,
he does have that edge. He's kind of a badass.
I think he's a bad guy.
Just bad guy, straight up.
I'm pretty sure he's a bad
anti-hero.
Guy. Yeah. I don't even know if he's an anti-hero. I think he's a bad guy.
Okay.
He was. I think, and like I said, I'm not going to pretend that I know all this
like here.
Well, yeah, but this is. You know, you're not. I hope you're not coming to this show when I'm on and he's on for comic books.
You're the wrong place.
I am the wrong guy. And you guys can tell me. Actually, that's one of the things I love about everybody. You can tell me. For those people who do know what I assume, they mentioned him briefly in Shazam, where they remember they said when Jaimin Hansu was saying there was a champion before you, but he turned on them. That was Black Adam.
Okay,
and he just was like he basically went to the dark side. He's like dark side Shazam, I think.
Okay,
I think
that I'm into.
But anyway, and I think because he battled Superman and something. I don't know. I could be making all this shit up, but I'm
just gonna nod,
yeah,
smile.
But I'm pretty sure from what I remember talking with Schnepp in the back in the day and having conversations with Coy. That's because I always had this like, well, what is this?
Right.
It's like I always like the Sebastian Maniscalco goes off. He's a guy who's got a lightning bolt on his chest? What? Wait. And the guy he's fighting is called Shazam? Call yourself Superman. You get to the point. Superman.
I feel like that is me. Yeah. Anytime anyone talks about this shit.
Yeah. It's like, just tell me. Just brass tacks. What's he do? He's got superpowers.
What are his powers? Yeah. How do we know him?
That's it.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments.
This was fun, brother. It was good talking to you.
Yeah, man. I'm just good to be here. It's good to see you.
Where do people find you? Where you give them the shout out where they can follow you?
Just go follow me on Twitter. I do most of my shout outs on there for when I'm casting esports. I'm so busy with that esports stuff. I love it though. It's still great.
You didn't even get a chance to talk about this time. We'll
do it next time. It's all right. We'll do it next time. Yeah, Clash Royale League. We do our monthly finals. We have our world finals coming up. We might even do it in person. Fingers crossed. Yeah. The casters will be, obviously the players are international. Sure. So check me out on Twitter @Andrew Ghai, and of course Action Industries on Patreon and YouTube. We're doing a new podcast. We're going to be talking about kind of what you're doing, going back to what you used to do.
Yeah.
We're going to go back to the old model of just talking about movies for like an hour, like specific movies like we used to do with Action Movie Anatomy, which we haven't done in years. It is. I miss it. Talking about things that you love is it's always a blast. So go check it out.
I loved having you on today, and we'll do it again soon for sure. And you also and you'll see Andrew's been crushing it on the desk for Schmodown. You'll see him on there doing that as well. One more reminder, guys. October 8th, get your tickets. Mark.Ellis live at or markellis.live. Sorry, markellis.live. And you can go and get those tickets October 8th. He's got shows on the 7th and 8th, so go support Mark. And then October 9th, we got the show in New York. If you're going to be in Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles, on December 4th, please get to the Schmodown Spectacular. It's going to be our big end of the show. Even if you've never watched the Schmodown ever, it's like going to be a big, massive party. The energy, I guarantee you that if you've never been to a Schmodown, never watched a Schmodown, if you come to the Spectacular, you will get hooked. I will put a guarantee on that. But either way, it was an absolute pleasure being able to talk to all you guys today and Andrew Ghai. Check us out, and make sure you check us out on the podcast. I know a lot of people are asking about podcast form. Well, you can do it. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the whole deal. It's very helpful for us. And keep on commenting. I'm writing back to everybody that I can. Check me out on Facebook also. I've been trying to interact with you guys over there. My public page. And I've been posting away. Thanks, guys. Peace out. Woo!